Alright, boys and girls, it is time for the January previews catalog. I gave my cat a couple treats to get him off me. He's begging, but he'll probably jump on me anyways. But this is the previews for January that comes out in March or around that time. And the first one we'll be talking about is Black Axe, which is on this cover here. We got Mouse Guard, Dawn of the Black Axe, number 1 of 3. I love this cover. If I was going to get one, he's getting knighted by the axe. I think that's awesome. It's done by David Peterson, Gabriel Rodriguez. The origins of the legendary Black Axe are revealed for the very first time. In celebration of its 20th anniversary, experience the earliest tale in Mouse Guard history. Adventure with the ancient weapon's first mouse wielder and champion, Bardrick, as he sets off on an epic quest in the newest installment of the Harvey Award-winning series. And they got some wonderful imagery here. It's black and white imagery that they're showing without words. So I assume it's going to be black and white since I don't see anything that says a notation of it coming out in color. Then we got The Last Boy, number 1 of 5. This is by Dan Panosian and Alessio Avallone. Years after Peter Pan's adventures with Wendy Darling, which I think that's such a weird name that... I mean, the Darling name's fine, but I don't know why you'd call your daughter Wendy Darling. But I get it, parents, they're weird. The boy who wouldn't grow up is now the last one in Neverland, still clinging to his adventurous youth. Meanwhile, in London, Wendy also yearns for childhood and its freedom from responsibility as she rails against the transition to adulthood and her family expectations. As their desires create a mirror of fantasy and reality, a disastrous encounter with the aging Captain Hook becomes the catalyst for Peter's realization that Neverland is growing up without him. But will the two of them find each other once again to carry on their age-old adventures? Or is this truly the final threshold of their adolescence in this modern take on a classic tale from those creators? And you got some imagery. I think it's kind of weird. You're going to have a young Peter with an old Wendy and old Captain Hook. And yeah, I don't know. I was never into Peter Pan to start with, so I'm not much help on this storyline. Alright, next up we got... Gotta jump a few pages here. 2 Hexvets, The Night Tunnels, which I think they wasted all this space by putting in these 3 quotes when they could have gave you some imagery to look at. But this is Sam Davies and Lisa Moore. In the Hexvets' newest adventure, Dr. Talon has gone missing in the night tunnels, leaving Ariel worried and the clinic overrun with agitated critters in need of soothing spells. Meanwhile, a strange beast has been spotted prowling around nearby villages, and a mysterious cloaked figure might hold the answers to this exciting mystery. I think that's the only image they give. I don't think there's anything in the next pages. Not like I can open them, no. Now we're jumping to Thundercats, ho! Thundercats Lost, number 1 by Ed Bryson and Rafa Labasco. After being shot down in the middle of a war zone, 5 Thunderan warriors are fighting for their lives. Together they face a horde of heavily armored soldiers, and the team's only hope is to somehow break through their lines to reach the wreckage of their ship. Such overwhelming odds will strain their abilities to the absolute limit. But even if Pumra, Lynxo, Shen, Ligan, and their hammer-wielding commander Bengali make it out alive, will they still be able to complete their mission? And even more important, who is the mysterious antagonist who is hunting them, and what is the connection to the Book of Omens? And they got some wonderful cover work here. Nice little write-up by Ed Bryson. Some imagery. Sorry, I got a scratch in my throat all of a sudden. That's not good. Alright. We are jumping to Vampirella number 1. I love the Perillo cover. But, I don't know. I'm not happy with this storyline. Vampirella number 1. Vampirella's infant son, stolen by her evil twin Draculina, has finally been returned to her. But Vampy hasn't bonded with the baby and sees him as a stranger. And the resulting pain sends her spiraling into a severe postpartum depression. Just as things feel like they couldn't go any worse, a mysterious figure named Cicero arrives, claiming to be her own grown-up child transported back from the future. A cataclysmic time in which Vampirella, consumed by bitterness, unleashes a nuclear holocaust. The only way to prevent this apocalypse is to give her infant back to Draculina, and Vampirella may be willing to watch the whole world burn before losing her baby again. And now she's got a baby again, and she lost her baby, and the baby's an adult coming back. Is she going to start dating it again like she did with the other baby? I don't know. Those storylines are just too weird to me. I just couldn't understand why they got into that style storyline. I like my old school Vampirella. I just want to see her kicking the crap out of baddies and go travel the universe and save other planets or something. Let's have some fun with the character again and get out of this depressing childbearing era with all our characters. All our characters couldn't age for 80 years, and now they all got kids. It's just so weird. We got Space Coast Johnny Quest, Space Quest number 1. The Quest family is legendary for how far they'll go in the spirit of exploration and discovery. This is by Joe Casey and Sebastian Perez. But their latest mission is literally out of this world. Jimmy and the gang are brought in to investigate a mysterious, potentially extraterrestrial spacecraft that has been found by the government and brought to Area 51. Of course, where there's spaceships, there's bound to be aliens, right? But what Team Quest finds in the particular UFO is a far cry from the unusual little gray men. And it's under the jurisdiction of a literally higher power Space Ghost. I like in the Future Quest run when Space Ghost and Johnny Quest joined up to save the world. But yeah, I like these characters together. They work out good. There's some more wonderful covers and a nice write-up from Joe Casey. Free to check out. And we're going to go to Red Sonja Attacks Mars, number 1. I'm pretty sure I got the trade paperback of Mars Attacks Red Sonja back in the 90s, I think is when it came out. But this is by Jay Stevens, which I love his artwork, so seeing him as the writer, I'm like, yeah, he's a great writer, but I'd love to see his artwork on here, at least on one of the covers, which I was surprised they didn't do. Then we got Franz Strucken as the artist in this one. While serving out a life debt, Red Sonja uncovers a sinister prophecy of cosmic foulness from beyond the stars. To stop the imminent destruction of the world, the she-devil with a sword must trek from the desert south of Hyrcania all the way to the northern shores of the Vilayet Sea to face down the insidious invaders from Mars. not to mention the Serpent Men, the Metamorlocks, and ancient angry monster gods that she meets along the way. That sounds like it could be fun. I might check that one out. Not positive yet. We gotta jump little ways here. To Solomon Kane, the Serpent Ring. I don't know why. It would be better if they did the Serpent King, but I don't know, because it's kind of weird how they end this description. But we got Patrick Zerker. The Sword of Vengeance slashes into his own new series. Solomon Kane, the Serpent Ring. Kane battles from the Barbary Coast across southern Europe to the canals of Venice as a band of rogues forms around him in their quest for the fabled Serpent Ring of Set. That's the thing that drove me nuts. The Serpent Ring of Set. Are they putting a little thing of rings together? I don't know. But yeah. Nice Mike Mignola cover there. Oh, I got some more covers and imagery here. I like the green sketch cover. Now we got Kaijus. We got Toxic Super Beast Volume 1 from Niken and Toy. I don't know how you say that. Monster Mayhem Unleashed. As the fog clears and colossal creatures stand as tall as mountains, be one of the bystanders in their shadows by opening Niken's explosive manga, Toxic Super Beast Volume 1. Thrust readers into a reality not too different from ours, until terrifying monsters begin to appear one by one. Oh, it's kind of weird looking. Kind of has that head thing of, I can't remember where that's from. And this guy, like a, mole. The mole man type creature coming out. That looks like a big worm creature coming out behind him. I don't think they have no more imagery for that. Alright, we're jumping to, yes, Dead Space. Awesome. Dead Space Martyr by Brian Evanson. We have seen the future, a universe cursed with life after death. It all started deep beneath the Yucatan. They like going to Yucatan, huh? Yucatan Peninsula, where an archaeological discovery took us into a new age, bringing us face to face with our origins and destiny. Dead Space Martyr is set centuries before the events of the main series, in which geophysicist Michael Altman investigates an alien artifact called the Black Marker. Yeah, that's one that I might have to pick up. We will see. But I love that video game, so I'd love to read some stuff that's prequel-ish to the game. Next up, we got Invincible Universe Battle Beast #1 by Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley and Annalisa Leone. The best new, not quite a superhero series in the universe, cursed with an unquenchable thirst for violence. Battle Beast searches the universe for the one warrior mightier than him, and a glorious death, his only reward. But even in a universe of mighty Viltrumites, like Invincible and Omni-Man, it seems that no one may be able to stop the galaxy's deadliest warrior, unless he does the unthinkable. What is the unthinkable? You're gonna have to read it to find out, I guess. Then we got We're Taking Everyone Down With Us by Matthew Rosenberg and Stefano Landini. The explosive double-sized first issue. After her mad scientist father is killed by the world's greatest spy, 13-year-old Annalise is left all alone in the world. Sort of. Her dead dad's robot bodyguard is following her around for some reason. Well, if your dad died, the robot bodyguard should take over to protect you, you would think. That would be something I'd definitely make sure was part of the programming. Now Annalise has a choice: try to lead a normal life for the first time ever, or seek revenge and maybe overthrow the world order in the process. Image Comics. I'm guessing she does the latter. Alright, we got a bunch of stuff here probably. We got Adventure Man, Family Tree, #1 by Matt Fraction, Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson. As the Connell family reels from the shattering events of Adventure Man, Ghostlights, they'll need to tap into the roots of the Adventure Man family tree of heroes to make the world right again. Starting with a luchador dynasty, savage savate kickfighting, and the star-crossed teenage romance that brought Adventure Man and MME Chagall, the super scientist, together. Then we got Bitterroot, the next movement. That's a follow-up from the last Bitterroot run, so if you're into that, check that out. We got Assorted Crisis Events, #1 by Denise Camp and Eric Zawadzki. Time is having a crisis. Mingling in the red light district, you can find actual cavemen, medieval knights, and cyborg soldiers on leave from World War IV. Victorian debutantes amble their way into cell phone stores, confused and bewildered. What is a data plan? On their way to work, bleary-eyed commuters get trapped in time loops, assaulted by alternate reality versions of themselves, and try to avoid post-apocalyptic wastelands. And look, the 315 bus just took a wrong turn into the Neolithic era. Rising, I already mentioned them. We got Dreamweaver Giant Size Special one-shot by Chris Real and Nelson Daniel and Ashley Woods, the cover artist. Cutler Carlton is a Dreamweaver. At least he was, until he grew too old to handle a magical threat from his past. That's when he transferred his powers of illusion to the much younger Bella Howard, and in the process, wrecking both of their lives in unforeseen ways. And then we got Monkey Meat Summer Batch, #1. The anthology is back for 5 new issues, so I guess if you know what the weird Monkey Meat story is, you can jump on that. It's ongoing. It's a new run or whatever. But we got Kids One Shot by Garth Ennis and Dalibor Talajic. Every parent thinks their kids grow up too quickly, but not like this. In one bewildering, terrifying instant, every child below the age of 1 disappears, to be replaced by creatures beyond their mothers and fathers' understanding. What happened to the kids? Who are these deranged, hyper-violent adults who've taken their places? One horrified couple do their best to solve the nightmarish puzzle, but before they can find the answers they seek, they must survive the night. Seems weird and interesting. You'll Do Bad Things, #1 by Tyler Boss and Adriano Tortolici. It's been 10 years since the release of He Came In With a Smile, the true crime smash hit that chronicled the brutal murders committed by the nursery rhyme killer. But in the decades since its release, its author Seth Holmes hasn't produced another title. He wants to write a story with a happy ending, but every time his fingers clack across the keyboard, it always ends in the character's death. Worse yet, these tales of blood and barbarity that flow so freely from Seth's mind are starting to happen in real life. Turn the page on this Giallo-inspired thriller from multi-hypernate Tyler Boss and breakout talent Adriano Tortolici. We got Universal Monsters, Mummy, by Faith Erin Hicks and Lee Luridge. Helen Grosvenor is a woman born to two worlds and belonging in neither. Forever haunted by a cursed encounter as a child, when unknown voices bring her back to an Egyptian dig site from her past, Helen will unknowingly play an unexpected role in the rise of a monster known only as the Mummy. Hopefully they'll do good with the Mummy. I wasn't overly thrilled with Dracula as others were. I felt it was too close to the original storyline. I loved what they did with Creature from the Black Lagoon, and that leaves you hanging for wanting another movie. I love what they did with Frankenstein by making the 4 issues different body parts that they focused on, but we will see what happens with this one. I will definitely be getting it, but not sure if I'm going to be overly thrilled with it. Alright, we got, those are all trades, so you don't have to worry about them. We can jump on over to Detective Kaiju #1 by Michael Calero and Kit Wallace. From the pages of the fan favorite series Quested comes a noir comic of epic proportion. Detective Kaiju, the hard-boiled investigator, gets his own miniseries reuniting on the 3-part murder mystery. In this debut issue, Detective Kaiju's past catches up with him when the body of an old friend is discovered in South Fairbrawn. Now he must face the demons of his past while uncovering a trail of secrets surrounding the unusual murder. And retailers, Shaw-Na makes her return to the page in this very first spin-off of the Quested universe. What's this guy saying down here? You must have your own series now, right? Talking to some little kid that don't have his own series. Because he doesn't look too happy. We got Zorro, Man of the Dead #1. Massive Select exclusive. They've been bringing Zorro back like crazy, so someone must be picking him up. They do have, I was wondering, I didn't see the Pin Apocalypse when I did my order sheet. Alright, we got Sean Gordon Murphy and Simon Gao. Don Quixote meets Narcos in Zorro, Man of the Dead. In this modern reimagining, the creators deliver a fresh take on legendary swashbuckling hero. Diago is a young man who is convinced that he's Zorro. As a child, he suffered a psychotic break after witnessing the murder of his parents by the drug cartel in his village. To cope with the trauma, he embraced the 200-year-old legend of Zorro by donning the mask, training with the sword, and declaring war on the narcos for the sake of his people. So he's not Zorro, he's just wanting to be Zorro. Let's call him a different name. I don't know. Someone must like it. We got a Grimm Fairy Tales 20th Anniversary Pinup Special. It's got all your favorite characters donning sexy costumes. Dave Franchini's working on this. It's got a short story like they always do with the Grimm Fairy Tales Pinup Specials, which is always nice to have a story thrown in there. And the stories have been pretty decent. I enjoyed the ones I did see. But this one ain't grabbing me. I'm not into the fairy tale. looks that they got going on here. So I won't be picking that one up. And then we got Midnight Airlines #1 by Mirka Andolfo. Midnight Airlines sweeps readers into a dark, erotic, and suspenseful adventure where vampires glide through luxury's shadows. Dave, a jaded airport desk clerk, stumbles upon Midnight Airlines, a clandestine, high-end air carrier catering exclusively to blood-sucking elites. When Dave's curiosity lands him on a flight filled with these deadly charismatic passengers, he's thrust into a brutal game of survival within this hidden society. Amid opulent, eerie surroundings, I think that's what it is, he reunites with his long-lost sister Claire, now ensnared in the vampire underworld, and together they fight to escape, navigating vampire laws, supernatural foes, and enigmatic figures. I don't know. I like vampire stuff, but that's not really pulling me in. We got Defiant #1 by Chuck Austin and Patrick O'Leaf. On his final mission, Sandusky returns to the stars to reclaim his son Devon's body and uncover the truth surrounding his death. Light years from home, among a cascade of twisted metal, Sandusky finds Devon, his body entombed in the remains of his ship, the Defiant, lost in a massive battle that sparked an intergalactic war. But nothing is what it seems. As Sandusky digs deeper, he and his allies are drawn into a galaxy-spanning mystery, one that holds secrets far darker and more complex than anticipated. They got some imagery that looks pretty cool here and stuff, but I couldn't read it because the Sandusky, that name being in there. I mean, after all that crap with Sandusky, the coach, yeah. But they do have a lot of Star Wars style imagery in here that they look like they took from that style. But yeah, looks decent, but I won't be picking that up. Okay, we got The Missionary. I can't. Looks like Jason Howard and Ryan Stigman are working on this. A horror comic for the ages. Bryce Hunter is a devoted religious man whose faith is shattered when he catches his wife being intimate with an elder from his church. This harrowing event sends Bryce spiraling into the hands of a demonic entity named Euvidus. Instead of rejecting possession, Bryce accepts Euvidus. Bryce wants to learn to be bad, and Euvidus wants to be less than completely evil. But before Bryce can use this new partnership to finally live a little, the world's greatest exorcist sees Bryce as his greatest challenge, but that's not even the worst of it, as a murderous group of demons breaks free from hell and threatens to reshape Earth into a kingdom over which they rule. I suppose the combination of Bryce and Euvidus allows Bryce to manifest demonic powers to fight both the evil and good forces who want him destroyed. The fate of eternity hangs in the balance as Bryce and Euvidus must fight to not just survive, but reconcile their opposite natures and become the missionary. Then we got The Big Burn. This is by looks like Joe Henderson, Lee Garbett are working on this one. Owen and Carly are the Bonnie and Clyde of the 21st century. A smooth, slick duo who pull off impossible heist and have the time of their lives doing it. But when justice finally catches up to them, they think it's all over, until the devil himself offers them a deal. Their freedom for their very souls, but they soon find that without their souls, their love is missing too. So they set out to recruit a crew of damned for the ultimate heist, break into hell, and steal their souls back. Yeah, some more covers and imagery there. Okay, that's a mini series. So that yeah, that's a mini series. So I don't need to go over that. And then we got Arcana Royale #1 by Cullen Bunn and A.C. Zumidio. A new supernatural thriller that the Sandman meets Rounders. Hudson Tremaine is a streetwise gambler with his siphoned money from every high-stakes game in Vegas. She's made a name for herself, but she's also made more than a few enemies in the gambling underworld when she is invited to play in the most underground card tournaments of all, the Arcanos Mysterinos. She realizes the stakes are higher than she ever imagined possible. Imagine a clandestine poker tournament where magicians, demons, and demigods gamble using a set of mysterious tarot-like cards. These games shape the fate of the world, of many worlds, for good or ill. This game has always been played in secret, hidden from prying eyes of mortals until now. Alright, I got, let's see here, do we keep going off that? We got 40 something over here. Nope, that's #3, we don't need to go over that. We got Lady Baltimore, The Daughters of Medusa by Mike Mignola and Christopher Golden and Bridget Cannell. As the supernatural battle for control of Europe and the world wages on, Sophia and her team journey to Paris to investigate a possible Gorgon that is turning spies and soldiers to stone. Mike Mignola and Christopher... Yeah. Basically got a Medusa story. And then we got The Great British Bump Off, Killer Be Quilt, #1 by John Allison and Max Serin. A new cozy mystery from Giant Days. Surely there is no vacation more drama-free than a boating holiday along the sleepy canals of Yorkshire. Oh, you'd think so. Sadly for Shauna Wickle, it's tough to escape the poisonous small-town rivalries and sultry romantic entanglements when traveling at a steady 2 to 3 miles per hour, and to make things worse, she's about to find out how ruinously expensive a hastily tied knot can be. Alright, we got... Okay, those look like all ongoings. Jump over here. We have Star Wars The High Republic Phase 3. If you're into those, they keep putting out more and more High Republic storylines. The ones I checked out were really enjoyable. I'd like to read all of them, but we'll see. You got Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, Codebreaker #1 by Ethan Sachs, Mark Yarza, Jose Marzan. Celebrate the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens. Poe Dameron, Ace-resistant pilot, and his droid companion BB-8 are sent to investigate a piece of First Order tech used to decode Resistance messages. Standing between them and their objective is an infamous TIE fighter pilot, Can Poe outfly his enemy, or will the mission go down in flames before it begins? Alright. There's Vatican City #1 by Mark Millar and Perberg. The all-new, and I'm saying Millar again, I'm not going back to Miller. I don't care if he calls it Miller or not, but it's spelt Millar, so accept it. Because finally I found other people that say Millar too. So, if he's not calling himself Millar, that's his thing, but Miller is not spelt A-R. So, the all-new series from New York Times. The world has been overrun by a vampire apocalypse. Every man, woman, and child dead except the 2,000 tourists safe behind the walls and holy relics of Vatican City. But as the vampires gather in their millions outside, how long can they hold out? Because the monsters can wait forever. Dun dun dun. Got The Witcher, The Bear, and the Butterfly for Witcher fans. They've been coming out with a lot of great looking stories for that franchise. We got, well, no, we talked about those during our, IDW previews. So we don't have to go through those. Did that. Those are all good. Looks like, Garbage Pail Kids Volume 1 for people. I don't know why I have this page marked. Charles M. Schultz Snoopy stuff, but these are all ongoing in trades. Not sure. Alright, let's see where we gotta go next. Alright, just a couple pages to Valiant Beyond Bloodshot. This is by Maura Montella and Fernando Hines Furukawa. A new era of superhero storytelling begins here. Designed as the ultimate jumping-on point, the Valiant Beyond line of comics are absolute must-reads that will energize your love for superheroes. A powerful new drug is unleashed on Japan and has set the underworld ablaze. There's only one force strong enough to stop the BS, and he's not looking for an invitation to start kicking butt. It's Bloodshot like you never seen him before in this all-new cutting-edge series. I know, I was thinking, actually I didn't see these covers before I seen a virgin version of this one with a black background, I thought, and that's the one I was going to get to check it out, but we'll have to see. Might as well circle that one so I can check back with it. Then we got Valiant Beyond, Tales of the Shadow Man by A.J. Ampadu and Sergio Monges. Designed as the ultimate jump, yeah, we read that. The city of New Orleans is home to a rich history of music, art, and culture that has achieved unparalleled progress and success. It's the magic capital of the world and home to a hard-nosed detective trained in the ways of voodoo who has dedicated her life to keeping New Orleans safe. When an ultra-dangerous monster invades her jurisdiction and threatens the peace they fought so hard to protect, she must disobey her orders and summon the mysterious being known as Shadow Man in order to save the city she loves. Okay, we got American mythology now. Legend of La Rosa Blanca Number 1 by Pat Shand and Gordon Purcell and Gerardo Gamboni. A Western horror series like you've never seen. 29 pages of full-color story. It's jam-packed with action, creatures, and terror. An all-new creative team, which we already said. And presents the first adventure of a new monster slayer. La Rosa Blanca is a myth, a mysterious hero of the people raising up in the Old West to protect the innocent from the terrors of the night. Monsters, demons, the undead, even dragons. Whatever creature would prey upon the weak, she is there to protect the innocent. This is a story of the rise of a new La Rosa Blanca, a girl who, because of the terrifying circumstances, dons the mantle and becomes the next generation of heroes to wear the cape and wield the pistol. Interesting character. I could probably get into reading that. 270. That's something here. It's Three Stooges specialty covers and stuff, and Gun Hand specialty covers. I'm not sure why I have this marked. I don't know. I think my pages are off. I don't know why I was marking certain ones. But, ooh, we're hitting Antarctic Press. One of our favorite sections. That's a trade paperback, another trade paperback, future trade paperback. Tomorrow Girl 11, it's a wrestling one. I'm into this now that Ben Dunn's got me into it. And that cover's done by Ben Dunn, so I'll have to get that for my wrestling pod that I'm building up. But yeah, I think the reason I did this is because I don't remember seeing issue 1 and 2 of Private American by Mark Barron and Richard Bonk. But One Man versus the Tide of Terror, striking from the South. New patriotic fervor from Punisher veteran Mark Barron. A mysterious benefactor steps in to support the Private American's elite military training to unleash hell on international terrorists and human smugglers. Taking advantage of America's porous border, Private American is important, says Jim Steranko. Yes, it is, because they took a crap with the Punisher, just destroyed him in the end, brought a new Punisher in that sucks, in my opinion. And this, I'd like to read this 3-issue run, but I'm going to have to get it from the beginning. I'm not going to jump on issue 3. I love Plan 9 from Outer Space. I got t-shirts for that if you're into it. Freakier Than Normal, Furlaw for the furry fans. I love that cover. Kaiju Cooking #2. Antarctic Press has such wonderful things coming out. It's just such a sad moment in comic history where we're dealing with some issues again with companies starting to struggle to find distributors and stuff. So that's a bummer. Alright, I gotta jump a few pages. This is a big one. Let's see, we got 08, Secret World of Modern Banking, #1 to 5. It looks like Cyclist, #1 to 5. Looks like The Accursed, maybe, by Mark Fenton and David Kames Case. The Hedge Witch has called in multiple versions of herself and the Four Horsemen to wipe out the Starkings family, once and for all. Olivia will need all the help she can get to keep the balance between humanity and the supernatural. Sacrifices will be made, alliances will be formed, and the world as we know it will be forever changed. Doesn't help me much, because I'd like to know more. Looks like we're on here. We got Magnificent McCoy's Shit Show, number 1 by Adam Bernhardt and Samir Samail. The world once had an age of heroes where legend, the principled protector of peace, and his legion defended the earth from threats far and wide. Then, in the blink of an eye, unimaginably horrific forces catapulted the age of heroes into extinction. Now, as people wander aimlessly through a heroless world, the magnificent McCoys travel far and wide to showcase their powers for the almighty penny. Led by the drunkard Richard McCoy, the hero once known as Legend, the magnificent McCoys tries to find normalcy in a world that is just slivers of what it once was. That looks like that's all on that page. I got some Lady Death, Eternal Sabbath, or Sabbath, number 1, by Brian Pulido, Mike McLean, and Diego Bernard. No, this is a part 3 of a company-wide crossover event, which is Helgeddon, which I was kind of curious about. But now that I know it's got a bunch of crossovers and stuff going on, I don't think I'm going to get into that either. We got Blowtorch, The Middleman, number 1 by Alfred Page, Alex DeGruchy, and Montos. In this action-packed, full-color comic, after a messy assassination gets Avery Davis' attention, he sends in Blowtorch to track down the man responsible, following information that leads them into a dangerous situation. Blowtorch, along with Pinpoint and Infrared, head out to confront the source and come face to face with the assassin known as the Middleman. I didn't have that page marked, so I'm surprised I didn't see that one. Alright, we're getting into Turbo Hawk by Christian J. Measley and Missimo. A sci-fi meta-story with thrills, chills, and heart. A loving visual tribute to 90s action comics in a future ravaged by alien invasion, mysterious rebellion soldier Trod, the Blades of Vengeance himself, was tasked with stopping an evil alien plot, but not before the Prometheans were able to zap the strange asset into another dimension. We had Ghostman number 1 by Raymar Brunson. Is he alive or dead? Hero or demon? With the ability to walk through walls and conjure weapons at will, Ghostman makes vengeance scary. Yeah, there's some fun powers that they have. Something on this page, I think. Shihaikyo, number 1, Rough Cut Edition. Where's number 2? Because number 1 came out last issue, I thought. Looks like Red Range, number 1, by Keith Lansdale and Jacques. Range is a man out of luck, out of time, and out for vengeance. With his wife and child taken by the clan, he rides for justice, but vengeance leads to strange times and bizarre lands as Range is washed away to a place filled with odd tech and creatures long forgotten. Now all he wants is to go home. Go home, Ball. Go to your happy place. Oh, it's going to be a long episode, but that's alright. Get it over with in one shot, hopefully. We are going to Gold Key Select, Boris Karloff Thriller number 1. Got various writers. I got Mike Sikuski and various artists. Step into the shadows with Gold Key Select, where eerie tales of yesteryear await. Ghostly apparitions and spine-chilling mysteries entwine in this masterful collection. Let Karloff's haunting voice lead you through a realm of suspense and supernatural dread. Are you prepared to embrace the lurking darkness? Or I hope so. Bare Naked Beauties. I love how all these dirty books are always so high priced. Okay, jump in a couple pages. Not too far. To Arcady and the Lost Titan by Kaza. 10,000 years ago, the Earth stopped moving. Half the world was plunged into frigid night. The other is scorched in day. Young warrior Arcady, whose tribe lives in the thin strip of habitable land known as Twilight, must brave the wide, dangerous outer world to discover why the world stands still and to rescue it if he can. So if the sun is immobile, why would the sun change at all in the atmosphere? If the earth is standing still, that don't make sense. Must have been a flat earther that wrote this, maybe. Kind of curious. We got Hard Bargain by Stephen S. DeKnight and Lena Carvalho. Frank Harding, a hard-boiled PI in 1940s LA, is no stranger to dangerous criminals, crooked cops, and the occasional demonic entity, but his current case, tied to his own past and LA's all-too-real history of prejudice and discrimination, may be the one that puts Frank out of business. For good. Interesting. There's some imagery for you to check out. Oh, I didn't even realize. Sorry about that. My light's taking over the images, but it's getting dark in here, so I need to be able to see what's going on. But they got lots of imagery for you to check out there. Looks pretty decent. We got the Woman in Comics month coming up, so you got different past releases you can pick up from some of the companies. Come on, page. We got Don't Run with Scissors #1. I want to check out this Mark Spears Monsters too. Definitely want to see what that's about. I'm going to wait for the trade. We got Francesco Perillo, Stefano Cardacelli, Lorenzo Scaramella. In 1982, a tranquil town becomes the backdrop for a series of eerie and unsettling events. During a routine evening patrol, Sheriff Despero encounters a chilling scene. A blood-soaked woman dashes towards him, screaming that her life is in danger. Horror stands at the gates of the city. Not enough information. We got Dark Pyramid. Who we got here? Paul Tobin and P.G. Holden. Huki Hidalgo, adventurist and popular live streamer, has gone missing while climbing Mount Denali in Alaska. When his girlfriend, Becca, arrives at the base of the mountain to retrace his steps, she soon discovers something beyond the dreamy and impressive landscape. There is a conspiracy deep within the heart of Denali itself. A dark pyramid, silent, waiting. Becca and the scores of Huki fans determined to either find him or find some fun will face death, avalanches, and monsters to find the truth. We got Crush Depth, number 1 of 5, by Tim Daniel and David D.P. Andre and Alex Sanchez. Two brothers locked in a sibling rivalry wrestle for command of a massive nuclear submarine. The Absolution, in a near future irrevocably altered by climate change, Chief Science Officer Liana Pearson finds herself not only caught between the Wilder brothers, but drowning in her fear of the surface world, when something alien infiltrates the Absolution and upends the balance of power. Liana is left with only two deadly options: reaching the toxic surface world or steering the sub into the unforgiving abyss and crushed depth. Blah, 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 blah. Got Blade Forger, number 1 of 5. Can one person change the world? Hell no. This is done by Inaki Miranda and Roy Miranda. We got the discovery of Corum, a never-seen-before energy source led to a bloody world war for its control. After years of destruction, the Lords of the Lands agreed to negotiate a ceasefire for lasting peace. The Blade Forgers Treaty was born from that meeting. The treaty established that the mining of Corum would be centralized through one government led by a neutral emperor. The emperor would have to be a blade forger, a mystical swordsman, and claim the title in a tournament called the Tournament of the Five Rings. Every 5 years, blade forgers from every corner of the empire would fight for the possibility of becoming the new emperor. A young blade forger named Owada challenges the emperor in the name of the Forsaken people. This is the story of what happens next. We got Far Down Below, number 1 of 5. In the summer of 1983, teen friends Mike and Brian seek escape from rainy day boredom by exploring Brian's abandoned family home, a notoriously haunted house. What they find below their sleepy Eastern Peninsula suburb will unlock the doors to adventure and danger. We got Student Government by Dave Justice, Leela Sturges, and Joe Eisma. At America's second oldest university, 4 earnest, clever, and desperate teens on the interim student government exploit a charter loophole in an effort to save their school from being demolished, facing down pressures on campus and escalating hostility from the Board of Regents in a story both hilarious and heartfelt. We got Day of the Dead Girl by A.J. Mendez and Amy Garcia and artist Belen Culebres. Death is never the end of the story. Coroner Sam Castillo will learn this the hard way. When a supernatural serial killer targets her hometown just as she moves back, a skeptical woman of science, Sam butts heads with her spiritual mother Anna, a leader of a witch coven specializing in brujeria. But when the coven's brujas start turning up murdered, Sam and Anna must work together to find the killer and save their town's Day of the Dead festival from turning into an occult bloodbath, as if sharing a bathroom with her mom wasn't hard enough. On Mars by Sylvain Runeberg. In 2132, mankind has reached Mars in a desperate grasp to survive a dying Earth. Constructing such an ambitious colony requires an army of manpower which Earth provides as conscripted prison labor, but when that workforce rises up, the fate of humanity is on the line. It's got some interesting imagery. Looks like something I could probably get into. I like the sci-fi. Like it, like it, like it. Like it a lot. I like it, like it a lot. We got Free for All #1 One Shot by Patrick Howarth. It looks like a variety of covers. In the future, the World Finance League exists to benefit all, randomly choosing those from among the billionaires and trillionaires of the world, and presenting them with a choice either to donate half their assets to the common good or defend them in ritual combat. Ooh, I like this. Oh, that could be fun. Reigning champion and real estate magnate Ted Brooks has 22 victories under his belt, defending the wealth he schemed and stabbed to get. When he is forced to face his ex-wife, Luella Dominguez, in a fight to the death, Luella has been training, waiting for this moment, but will she have what it takes to defeat the man who would do anything, absolutely anything, to keep his fortune? Well, I hope so. I don't know. That one I might check out. Since it's a one-shot, I like that. Let's see, where's the number? Right there. Yeah, I might have to check that one out. See what cover I would end up getting if I do. Probably that one. I like her with the big old axe. I kind of like that cover too. Him being sliced and diced and money coming out of his brain, out of his head wound. Alright, we got Out of Alcatraz #1 of 5 by Christopher Cantwell and Tyler Cook. Convicts Frank Morris and Clarence Anglin have washed ashore in San Francisco after surviving their infamous escape from Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary in June 1962. They soon meet their gruff and disappointed handler, a mysterious young woman who's also running from something and hope to quickly get their way north to the border. If they can even make it out of Modesto alive. As a dodged federal manhunt and chance encounters threaten the desperate convicts, everyone involved is about to discover the same blood-stained truth. Life on the run is an even more hellish prison than Alcatraz could have ever been. Yeah, it's a lot harder when you're on the run than it is to just sit in prison. If you're constantly being chased. Yeah, Rick and Morty Spring Breakout. They seem to have a new Rick and Morty book every month. James Asmuth and Jim Festanti and Jake Black are the writers. Artists are Dean Rankin, Angela Trezino, and Warren Wushenich. It's spring break. Well, at least for everyone else but Morty Smith. After an outburst in Mr. Goldenfold's class, Morty and a handful of other students are stuck in all-day detention under the watchful eye of, oh no, Rich Sanchez. In a breakfast club meets magic school bus style adventure, Rick takes Morty and the kids around the universe for a lesson on spring break they'll never forget. Spotlight is on Palace of the Golden Princess #1 from Preston Poulter and Ediana Silva. Women run this sexy fantasy world, based on the first RPG adventure written by a woman, which its publisher destroyed for its scandalous content. An adventuring party upsets the balance of power in the queendom of Alluvia. Queen Arika assigns Governess Dora a quest to venture into the Forbidden Wood to restore the balance. Yeah, that looks like that's all for that one. Then we got we got Gigante. Number 1 by Shane McKenzie and Jim Cooler-Shima. Marta and Felix head to the border with the intent of dressing like immigrants in hopes of being caught. Their goal is to capture footage for the documentary about immigrant abuse. Things do not go as planned. Well, how do they go? See what we got in here. We got Wards of the World Awakening. Number 1 by Hector Rodriguez Lil. Or the third, I don't know. I can't tell from here. And Dano Camaro. 2 Mexican-American siblings travel with their parents on a business trip to Mexico, where they visit the impressive Mayan ruins of Chichen Itza, accompanied by their bosses, grandkids, and the quirky company chaperone, but their exploration of the tourist attraction goes sideways when the kids sneak into the pyramid of the feathered serpent and fall into the secret cenote beneath. As they emerge from a vast underground lake, they realize they've been transported to another world full of supersized creatures and even bigger kaiju. That sounds fun. Scream Magazine with The Hills Have Eyes. Techno Freak. Ooh, what is this? Apocrypha one-shot at various writers and artists. Techno Freak Apocrypha. That's a hard name for me to say. Number 1 continues the adventures of John Sherlock in the dystopian London of the 31st century. The last of the Techno Freaks, John is part man, part machine, and is arguably the smartest man on the planet, and quite possibly the drunkest too. Meet Maurice, John's sarcastic robot cat, and Loretta, the love of his life, as well as Neville Brady, a one-man wrecking crew, and Greta Kraus, Neville's no-nonsense German sweetheart. It's an action-packed roller coaster ride as John rights wrongs, fights foes, and saves damsels in distress, but mostly hangs out in pubs, living his best life. Yeah, I'll be getting that. I did not see that when I did my order for the month, so I will definitely be going back into that. Oh, they got a collected trade paperback for Techno Freak 2, so I definitely got to get that page marked. So happy to see that. I love those characters. Guns of Brixton, number 1, by Sean Golding and Renzo Pedestra. An exciting new 5-issue miniseries, Guns of Brixton, is a high-octane comic series following the exploits of South London-based punk rock band Rachel and the Heads of State. Rathos for short. The band are living the punk mantra of sex, drugs, and rock and roll until a fateful night after a concert in Brixton when everything changes, inspired as much by punk legends like Blondie and The Clash as it was by other comic titles. It's an action-packed love letter to rock music. Yeah, that sounds decent too. Alright, do you have anything on this page? No. We gotta jump over to Osaka, SPD, from Andy Levy and Hugo Arahu. No, it's a sequel to Sumerian's OGN Osaka meme. So if you got into that, you can check that out. But they have some fun covers on here. Definitely looks interesting, but I obviously have to check out the other one first. Alright, we got... Actually gonna get through this. Definitely under an hour and a half. I was worried that it would go farther than that. We are checking out... No. It's gotta be this one. Yeah, it's gotta be Def Leppard's Hysteria by Phil Collen, Elliot Rahal, and Alex Schlitz. Def Leppard's Hysteria, the graphic novel featuring never-before-heard music from Darkside. Hysteria tells the story of the world's most dangerous guitar, written by Phil Collen and Elliot Rahal, with art by Alex Schlitz. When Faz, the frontwoman of indie band Darkside, inherits her father's estate, it comes with a guitar she half remembers from her childhood. The guitar speaks to her, promising fame and success. Soon it delivers, but when Darkside's equipment is stolen at a massive music venue just before they're set to take the stage with Def Leppard, Faz goes on a warpath to get it back. A knuckle-dusting rampage ensues, and the guitar's true history is revealed. It sounds kind of fun. Let's see what I can pick that up for through my catalog. I got a soft spot for Def Leppard. The one song, that one guitar song, I did that for speech and drama class, and I jumped up on the teacher's desk. I jumped off. I was doing air guitar with the whole guitar part of it because you couldn't use props at all to an extent. And then so I was doing the guitar part of the song, and I can't think of the song fully right now in my head, but the one part talking about the guitar in the song, I jumped off the teacher's desk and landed in with my, just basically landed sliding on my knees towards the students' desks. And I did a bunch of other stuff running around the room doing all kinds of goofy shit. And she just didn't know how to grade me. It's like, well, just give me an A. And it's like, don't think about it. So I thought I put a ton of effort into it. Yeah, that was a fun one to do. An actual class thing that I actually worked on for once. We had Toxic Super. No, we already talked about that. So we don't need to do that again. We have Street Fighter Masters Guile. Number 1. He's the American Airman, the Sonic Striker, the Colonel with the comb. Street Fighter mainstay Guile finally stars in his very own comic adventure in this exciting one-shot story. Guile must keep an experiment prototype aircraft out of the hands of the new villains on the block, Vortex Incorporated, and their newest lieutenant, the South African stick fighter known as Wazi. I like Guile. Was it Van Damme that played him in the movie? That movie still cracks me up. Alright, we got Minecraft, the manga for Minecraft fans. Peaceful life in a perfectly constructed town bores 10-year-old Nico into mischief. Riding creepers while they explode is fun and all, but what he really wants is to escape the blocky confines of his home and take his crafting skills on an adventure to the end of the world. Just how big is the world? Anyway, and what could stand in his way? This is done by Kazuyoshi Sito, and it looks like the last one is Dogs Red. This is by Satoru Noda. After winning the national championship, 15-year-old figure skater Rao Shirakawa was on his way to the Olympics, but with his mother's tragic death on his mind, he threw it all away in an outburst of rage. Banned from figure skating, he and his sister moved to Hokkaido. When he meets some local kids at the skating pond, they convince him to be a stand-in player for their soon-to-be disbanded hockey team. Their team has never won a game, and they're up against the local champs, but if they've got to go down, they want to score at least one goal before it's all over. Rowe hasn't got a clue how to play ice hockey, but he sure knows how to skate. Interesting. Just trying to get into some manga stuff, but just not having much luck. And then they got a variety of toys in here. Don't think I've seen anything too drastic that stood out. They did have the horror fans. They got some glow-in-the-dark reaction figures, including the Spengulu that I already picked up. Now after seeing this, I'm never ordering again. Plan 9 from Outer Space. They got the Vampira figure. Killer Clowns from Outer Space trading cards. Could be fun. Yeah. All kinds of interesting figures and stuff. Nothing that's really grabbing me. But yeah. That's it for this month. Got her done in one shot. 2 shots actually. The Marvel, DC, IDW in one shot and the big catalog in the other. We're going to start doing it that way from now on. Get it over with. Instead of having a ton of different episodes. That way we can get other stuff put out. So keep falling under the call of MS. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, give us those likes. And we will be back with more soon. Take care. Bye. Oh yeah, and check out our group podcast, Crimson Color Comic Club, for our individual picks of what we're actually picking up. We'll also be doing that, so keep an eye out for that. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.